A side effect of debt that people don't really realize is that it makes you lazy. What do I mean by that? Well, it disconnects you from the reality of what things cost and what it takes to earn the amount of money that you need to actually buy things at full price. Because often when you buy things on debt, you don't pay full price, not right away anyway. You usually end up paying more. But because you do so in installments, normally, you physically and emotionally are just disconnected from how it feels to be able to have to give up the amount of money it actually costs. And as a result, you're disconnected from the work that it takes to actually make the amount of money. And you can see a lot of examples of this just in our culture, in our society. Obviously, people are complaining every day about how hard it is to survive. Oddly enough, though, a lot of those people have a lot of things that are completely unnecessary for them to live. Like, if you think about it, the amount of people in America who make $50, $60, $70, $80,000 a year and are saying, it's impossible for me to live. Yet they still find time for leisure. They still find time for social media. They still find time to buy makeup, clothes, shoes, cars, things that go to the movies, eat out, all of the things that everyone says it's just impossible, but yet we are still doing it. Interesting. And again, this to me proves that we have just gotten so used to, so comfortable with being in debt that we believe that we are owed a better quality of life and that we shouldn't have to work for it. Again, this is just a natural consequence of going so long without having to ever depart with the full price of any item that you pay for at any point in your life. There are more people today, I think, living that put things on installment plans and credit cards than ever before. And I think what that has caused is just a group of people, honestly, that believe that it is their right as human beings to be able to get things regardless of whether they have the money or not, because it is owed to them. And that belief comes from a lifetime of continuing to be able to get your hands, get access to money without any real consequence. Being able to push the limits of debt further and further and further, having multiple balance transfers over and over and over again, low interest debt, all the things that contribute to us being able to get things earlier than we normally would because we wouldn't normally have the money. All of those things is creating a group of people in our culture, our world, that believe it is owed to them. So we're at a point now where we have people, you know the saying, you'll get the fruits of your labor, right? We have people in today's culture who complain about the fruit and aren't doing any labor. Ain't that some shit? Like, we are literally at a point where people think they are owed the fruit and that the labor should be reduced or non-existent. Because, again, they have lived in a world where money has been so accessible that the idea that we have to work in order to survive is foreign. When the reality is it's always been that way. Debt just pushes the line back further so you don't have to deal with it today. You can just deal with it tomorrow. Again, laziness. You don't have to deal with your problems today. You don't have to deal with the fact that you owe today, because we'll transfer the balance. We'll let you refinance. We'll give you a smaller interest rate so we'll get your payments lower, and we'll just extend the terms out to 20, 30, 40 years. Some of you all have been paying on credit cards for the same purchases from 10 years ago. Like, it's that kind of thought process that we are owed things, whether we can pay for it or not, that makes us lazy. And while I am not here to tell you what to do with your money, you do what you want to do. You're an adult, presumably, if you're watching this channel anyway. What I will say to you is, if you are confused about why the world is what it is and why you have to work so hard, seemingly, to get ahead, understand that your baseline for hard is what is normal. You are just not accustomed to the work. And that is because debt has made you, and many people, extremely lazy. It has disconnected you from what it takes to actually be able to live in this world, because it gave you a promise that you can have everything you want for a small fee. But that small fee was really your ability to think critically about what things actually are. So, before you blame the world, before you get on social media and talk about how things should be better, how human beings don't deserve to live like this, remember that you are in probably the most prosperous country in the world. And remember that any financial circumstance you find yourself in is of your own doing. And if you think it should be easier, then remember, the fruits of your labor is not just a saying. If you want the fruit, you have to do the labor. And if you think you can get the fruit without the labor, eventually your day of reckoning will come, because all debt does in reality is push your date of reckoning back. It doesn't eliminate it. All it does is push your consequences further into the future. But eventually that shit catches up with everybody. That's all I got to say. I'll talk to you later.